Welcome back everyone. It's time to build the Genesis. Right, let's just show you what I'm putting in this girl. We are sticking with 30 servos. So we have got, we're using C1s for the cyclic. So I've got 3 C1s and we're using the T1 for the towel. And we've got Scorpion motor. Look at this beast. So that's a 5024 535 kV. Absolutely, look at the size of it. Jeez. And we are using, obviously, Scorpion speed controller, Trobinus 3, 220 amp. And I don't think I'm going to need it, but I've got the dual fan for it as well. And of course, with going all Scorpion, all gold, I had to get myself a gold V-bar Evo. So that's going in. I'm also going to be running the V backup guard and a extra antenna, because why not? Let's have a quick butcher's through the manual. 747 blades. I just want to show you this canopy. It's an absolute beaut. I'm going to keep this a matte finish. Some people online are doing it a glossy finish, but I actually like the matte. Well, isn't that a pretty thing? Beautiful. So on the new frame, the latest frame that they've designed, they've got an absolutely huge main shaft. This is all pre-made, haven't got to grease it. Lovely. But you can if you want. It says in the manual, you've got 2 one-way bearings. I've offered to put a bushing instead of 2 one-way bearings for smooth auto rotations. I think I'm just going to stick with the 2 one-ways, only because I've had a one-way go before in an SAB. So yeah, I'm gonna keep both of the one-way bearings in here. There's 2 in there, so I'm just going to leave that. This is the grease you want for the one-way. This is already assembled with Loctite, so yeah, you can actually tell there's quite a lot of Loctite around the bearings. You can see it, which is good. Let's just get a load of grease on it. Hello. Oh my god. What's going on here? Look. Ah, that might be why. Would help if open it, eh? Come on, mate, that's almost watery, that stuff. 1, 2. It says put 2 of these shims to remove the play, but they do give you 4. Let's just see. Yeah, that's good. So I've got 2 shims in altogether. Yep. I've got the tiniest movement on there, which is how I like it. Oh, look all that muck coming off. Do not want Loctite sealing itself against oil, because it will not hold. Look how much cleaner that's come out. Blimey. Look at the difference. Don't know if that's going to come across on camera. It's got a big difference. Make sure you order the SAB servo horns for the theta servos. HA050. You need to make sure this goes through the 18mm hole. Green Loctite. Do not want these coming loose. all on there, nip them all up. I like that. I like how they've, the side here, they put these little notches for the servo to sit on. That's nice, nice little touch. Yeah, so just make sure it's all the way over. And I personally also, you can move these up and down. I'll push it all the way down. Right, get the other one in. That's two. Right. So you've got two steel pins here, and they align at the bottom here. Nice little design that. Great idea, because you can just undo two screws for maintenance and take off those two servos. Really nice and easy. Always developing their products, SAB. Make sure, because I know you did then, you can easily take the anodizing off there. When you're screwing these two in, you could easily hit that and scratch it, which I haven't, but just be careful. Just moving on to the frame assembly now. There's a couple of scratches on mine. Doesn't matter. He's not bothered, because that is on the, yeah, it's on the inside anyway. This is the outside, and that is mint. Inside there's a couple of gouges there. It says in the manual to deburr it on a couple of the edges. It highlights in red. So I'm just going to do that with a really high grit sandpaper. Just quickly go over it. They're not that sharp, but it just stops. To be honest, that's what I needed. Jesus. Got rid of that quickly. Okay, so I've just cleaned all the screws. Nice. Right, so we're just going to do virtually the same on this frame. There's 3 screw holes there. One, two, three, four, 5. 10 more screws. And we've got a little visitor. Hello. Hey Loki, sit. This is Loki. It's our biggest supporter. Hello mate. He's an Australian Labradoodle. He's about 7.5 months. You alright mate? Paw. Good boy. Hello sir. Hello. Say hi to the Heli Workshop fans, eh? He's a good boy. Oh! Onto the head assembly. So the uniball radius arm assembly, you don't use any Loctite on these according to the manual. So this is pretty simple. By the way, if you don't use gloves when you're cleaning screws with this stuff, this is what happens to your fingers. Right, okay, so that's empty then. Well, you do not need a lot on here. I'll just try and put a dab on each quarter of the bearing, and then it should spread out. That's a nice tight fit, that. This is the grease you want to be using for the centre hub assembly. So HA096-S. Oh, blimey. That was a lot easier than I was anticipating. You can get different dampeners, but I'm just using the medium dampers that come with the kit. You can get soft and the harder versions. As you can see, these are the B Dolan damper. Right, let's do the rod assemblies. I love that they've engraved, laser engraved SAB logo on there. I don't know if you can see that. Nice little touch. So these have got to be between 75 and 76 mil from end to end. Oh, we've got to go in a lot more than that. We can get that spot on when we get it on the head. So they're both the same. You do not want to squash that bearing. You want it so there's no delay on that falling down. No friction. No wobble. That's lovely. Bearings are already and the blade grips, so you haven't got to do anything with that. You can see there's loads of Loctite on there. Lovely jubbly. Right, let's get these on first. I love how they've created a recess here. You see there's a recess sticking out. That's nice. And I love the fact that they've put a hole here for you to put grease in after a few flights. Love that. Why every single helicopter model hasn't had that from years ago, I do not know, but that's so good for maintenance. Let's clean these screws. Now I can't stress enough how important it is to clean the this screw. If there's any oil on here and you don't clean it off and you put Loctite on it, it will come loose. Trust me. So make sure you clean them good, the threads. Right, so we've got large RD, small RD. Let's start putting the thrust bearings together. Right, I just want to pinpoint this because it's not that obvious. You get these 4 spacers and they're not all the same. So if you look up close, this one has a ridge, this one doesn't. Okay, so yeah, so this would go on there with the ridge facing that way, and the ridge will sit on the ball bearing, and it's just so smooth. Yeah, so make sure you get that right, very important. So first is the bearing, and get one of the spacers, one more spacers without the ridge, that'll go on. Then you stick on the smaller ID on the outside. Then you will put on the bearing, and there is a one on the right way to put this. So you put the open side on the inside like that, because obviously if you had it that side, the grease will just come out of there. So yeah, you have it like that. And then you need the larger ID on the inside, and that is that. And then when it's on here, put a load of grease in. This is going to help actually, that it's quite running, this stuff. It's a tight fit, but it does go in. So that's the first one. Then you'd have that spacer on the outside. Don't forget to put this spacer on with a ridge on the outside. Okay. Right, and that's the second one on. Right, let's get some blue Loctite on here. Yeah, that's tight. Not notchy, nice and smooth. It's just a little bit of resistance there, which is fine. That'll loosen up over a few flights. Happy with that. Snap the links on. Okay, so we're moving on to the swash. Right, the manual states to put blue Loctite on all of these ball links, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be putting green. Always have that on the ball links on the swash. You do what you want. And a boo-boo there, Luke. That one don't go in there, does it? Wally Ollie. I do not edit out my mistakes. I am a human being. Right, just had to change angle. Let's get the swash on. Oh my god, that is such a nice fit. That's beautiful, that. I've not had hoodie that glides that well on a fit. And that's without any grease or oil on that yet. Alright, this is a little bit fiddly. Get it started by hand. Beautiful. Right, stick a bit of lube on here. The usual stuff. HO096S. Let's get the head on. Ouch! Beautiful. These got to measure approximately 47mm. Well, I'm not going to get it much better than that. Let's see what that is. 3.28. Oh, they're virtually the same. This is the fun bit. Right, I'm just trying to show you the best I can. I've got the Swashplate leveling tool in here, and I'm just trying to get the gap exactly the same, just by adjusting it using the servo program box. So yeah, all I'm going into, basically, this is the elevator one. So I'm just going into, this is really anal, you haven't got to do it like this. Reading the servo. So I'm just adjusting the neutral position and then going back. And then writing the servo and then testing it, and just trying to get the gap the same. So I'm just going to adjust them just down a little bit, just so they're just touching the servo leveling tool, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so I hope you can see there I've neutraled the servo, so there's like a paper thin gap on all three sides. So that's how I do it. It takes a while, but yeah, it takes a while, but it's definitely worth doing, just so you know everything's perfect. Right, I'm just going to put this EEC mount assembly together to get it out of the way while we work on the motor. Right, I may just put that to the side for a moment. Absolutely beast, this thing. Okay, so I'm using the Scorpion 5024 535 kV. It's got a 6mm shaft, so you've got to use the bushing that comes with the kit. I need to make sure the cables are pointing that way. Well, they're screws, aren't they? That will not be fun undoing that one. This is not rounded at all, and that definitely just slipped. So I'm not going to do that up anymore. Okay. So a week has gone by. I've been away working in a different area, staying away from home. So I've only got like 2 nights at home every week. I've got another month of it. I was just doing some thinking as I was away. I'm actually going to stick on a 20 tooth pulley on the motor, because I'm using a 5024 535 kV, and the booklet suggests a 20 tooth motor pulley. I've also got some new screws, the flathead socket caps for the motor, because one of them actually slipped. So yeah, I'm gonna just change them over. I think they've actually, with these, I don't think they're normal cap screws, they've actually had to make them a little bit, they've flattened the tops off, or they're just not as deep. So it's not a biggie. What one is it? Yeah, it's that one. Okay. I don't like it when don't like it when they slip. It's only tiny, but I don't know if you can see that. There's just a little wedge on it. They're not very deep. So I'm just going to change that over. Yeah, I'm not getting much time at the moment in the workshop. But it should pay off. All this working away. Yeah, so I'm a gas boiler engineer, and yeah, this time of year is absolutely bonkers for the company I work for, so I've got an opportunity to work away from home and some extra cash, which will help pay for a holiday and maybe another helicopter, we shall see. Right, let's get this 20 tooth pinion on. Right, let's get these on. Doing it upside down is a little bit easier, just to get the washers in the right place. Now time to tighten this. I'm not Loctite in these screws yet. Just want to get it in the right position. I wonder if at any point in the future, you know, you have the towel meter to show you the tension. You know, it shows you how tight the belt is. I wonder if they'll ever do that for the motor belt. Right, that's the two nuts done. Now let's do these two bolts up. Some Loctite, blue Loctite. That's probably the most trickiest bit of the build. I know it will be. I always struggle with tension in the belts, even on the nitro. I don't like putting anything hard and metallic. I just like using my hands and my skin, because I don't want to mark any of the anodized or the carbon. So I'm just mounting the ESC onto the ESC mounting plate. With Scorpion, they give you these grommets and collars, so I've just put them on there, and they also give you the bolts as well to mount it. SAB do give you some bolts as well, but they're a bit too small for my liking, so I'm using the ones that come with the kit, with the speed controller basically. So yeah, just got to feed them all through. Now it's time to get this nice and square, so I'm going to do this off camera. It's a bit fiddly. Okay, so that's mounted now. all bolted up, nice and square. Okay, so SAB provides you with these two soldered battery connectors, but I'm not using those. I'm going to be using RC Pro Plus's battery connector, solderless. Yeah, see how it goes, see how it fits. So this side frame goes on here. Cleaned all the screws already. Let's get some blue Loctite on the go. Now let's figure out how we get this gauge cable into there. Right. Okay, there's the speed controller and the RC Pro Plus connectors put in. Just a little bit of advice. Okay, can't much mess I make. Look. Okay, so these connectors, them holes obviously aren't big enough, but they are easy just to make the hole a bit bigger. I just used I don't know what size this, a 4mm drill bit, just to make this hole a bit more, just so the gauge cable can go through. I mean, this is 8 gauge, it's really thick, so yeah. And just to go over it quickly, these little screws that come with the RC Pro Plus, these are the ones that go in at the ends, and they're really lanky long ones. These are the ones that put the connector together, and these ones go on the side, so you don't use the ones that come with the SAB kit. You use these ones. Okay, just soldering up the motor cables. So I've just tinned these, one's already done. Tinning the connector. Okay, there's the 3 bullets all soldered up. Just got to put some heat shrink around them, fold them around the back, and yeah, get our trusty heat gun. Brilliant little thing this is. Okay, let's fit these cables down and under. And this is where you find out that you cut it too short. Let's hope not, eh? Oh, I like how they click. Nice connectors, these. Nice. Yeah. Lovely jubbly. I'll have those out of the way. Nice, perfect amount of slack. It's getting heavy now. Right, I'm going to end part 1 there. Part 2, we're going to be moving on to the towel group assembly. So that's going to get exciting. It's going to start getting a lot bigger very, very soon. Please subscribe to the Heady Workshop. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've learned something. Please leave a comment if you've got any tips or any questions. And we'll see you soon in part 2. Happy flying.